Hello guys, welcome to Liverpool Media. The Liverpool injury crisis have opened a Premier League title defense wide open. Could this be the season Tottenham, who are having an impressive run, could move on to win a Premier League title, or Liverpool could still push on right to the end to retain a Premier League title? But Liverpool have a new look midfield, and it's down to Jurgen Klopp's smart tactical adjustment. Today we'll be reviewing on that. But before we start, I would love you guys to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Liverpool's midfield shape has been adapted to compensate for the loss of key personnel to injury. For the vast majority of Jurgen Klopp's tenure as Liverpool manager, the standard configuration of the midfield trio in his favoured 4-3-3 formation has been pretty consistent. A lone number 6 with two number 8s pushed up higher and wider on either side, while the number 6 sits deep, splits the centre back during the build-up phase, and predominantly patrols the central zone in front of the defence. The number 8 have more license to get forward and link up with the attack, but also have to be ready to fill in the spaces when the fullbacks rope up the wings. It's the formula which underpinned Liverpool's European World and Premier League titles over the past 18 months, providing the platform to maximize Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson's creative potential, while enabling the front three to play with ultimate positional freedom. When all the right components are in place, it works brilliantly. Indeed, most of Liverpool's finest performances of the Klopp era have come using this exact system. The issue is, it's so complex and finely balanced in terms of the requirements on players on and off the ball that to execute it well, Klopp needs to have certain individuals available. Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez are absolutely essential components, because they are not only excellent readers of the game, they also possess the kind of recovery pace and quality of distribution to construct attacking moves that only a handful of centre-backs in world football can offer. Without them, and with the knock-on impact of having to shift Fabinho from the number 6 role to centre-back, some tactical adjustments were necessary. As superb as both Fabinho and Joel Matip are in terms of their reading of the game and ability in possession, they aren't anywhere near as quick across the ground as Van Dijk and Gomez. As such, it's no longer a viable strategy to play just a single midfield pivot ahead of two slow centre-backs, while also allowing the two fullbacks to play so far advanced. And when Alexander-Arnold is also unavailable, therefore depriving Klopp of 3/4 of his first choice backline at the same time, it exacerbates the problem, because you can't depend on James Milner or Neco Williams dominating the entire right flank in the way the best right back in the world does so reliably. What we have seen in recent weeks, arguably seeing the Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson combination featured in the Merseyside derby, but even more obviously, since the November international break, is a notable tweak to Liverpool's midfield structure. Rather than the default shape of a number 6 and two number 8, that usual triangle has been flipped on its head, so that now, more often than not, Liverpool have two deeper line midfielders at any given moment, with one operating notably further forward. In this example, the first half against Ajax, it's Curtis Jones dropping in alongside Jordan Henderson, just ahead of Matip and Fabinho, as Liverpool look to play out from the back, with Gini Wijnaldum making a forward run 15 to 20 yards ahead, ready to break beyond the half line towards the left-hand side. The intriguing aspect of this slightly altered setup is that it isn't remotely static. Rather, it shifts and evolves as the game progresses, almost like a perpetual moving carousel whereby each of the midfielders take a turn to sit back and go forward, always ensuring that two are back so as not to leave the defense overly exposed should there be a quick turnover of possession. It speaks volumes of their versatility and tactical intelligence that virtually any midfielder Klopp selects can comfortably shuttle between various positions in this manner. In the second half, by contrast, the structure is the same, but it's Henderson making the forward burst on this occasion, while Gini and Jones stick close together as double axis. Something very similar was evident in the 3-0 win against Leicester City, as early on in the first half, Jones drove forward down the left-hand side, while Gini and Navigator sensibly held their positions on halfway, ready to combat any counter-attack which might have materialized. Later on in the same half, the trio rotated with Jones and Gini sitting back, which then allowed Keita to play much further forward and link up with the front three for a spell before halftime. It's not always the case, as there are still periods within games where one midfielder drops notably deeper than the other two, but there is sample evidence to suggest Klopp has made a deliberate tweak in order to compensate for the fact he is without at least 50% of his first choice defense for most, if not all of the remainder of the campaign. The fullbacks have also been a little more conservative lately, picking their moments to get forward and support the attack, rather than both their starting positions essentially being like that of wide attacking midfielders, which was often the case with Robertson and Arnold over the past couple of seasons. A natural consequence of all this is that it does not tend to impact on Liverpool's ability to progress up the pitch as quickly as they ordinarily would, and the loss of Alexander-Arnold has had an especially profound impact on the build-up play in recent games, which in turn has resulted in Mohamed Salah being much less involved. It's a compromise Liverpool have had to make, though, in order to adapt to the simultaneous loss of several key personnel and ensure the much-changed backline has been sufficiently supported by a solid midfield shield in front.